My name is Bashon Mann. I live in Washington, D.C. Welcome to Man-Made Dreams 2. Well, my boating history is just steeped in my family. So when I say I was born on the river, I was born on the river, the Hudson River. Going back to my grandfather, Albert Ralph Mann, he was a carpenter by trade, and he actually built his boats. The first boat that I was ever on as a child was called Sabiji. One of the most important things when owning a boat, and one of the fun things, is actually coming up with a really good name. It might be something that's funny, it might be something that's personal. Ralph Mann was a carpenter by trade, and whenever he was done with the project, he would write somewhere on that table, on that chair, whatever it was, he would write man-made. So when it came time for my father to actually name his boats, he said Man-Made Dreams, because this right here is a dream that my grandfather had, just all of us being out on the water enjoying ourselves. So one of the options with regard to financing a boat, it's a little different than buying a car. And what I mean by that is you can actually finance a boat 15, 20, 25, maybe even 30 years. It just kind of depends what the lender is going to offer you. A lot of people think, oh my God, a boat, there's no way I'll be able to afford a boat. Actually, if you do your homework, you'll see whether that's a brand new boat or a used boat, you can actually get some really good financing options and space it out over a longer period of time. So when you're making the distinction between getting a boat from a boat show or a dealer, I wouldn't necessarily look at it as a one or the other. I know plenty of people, again, that go to the boat show, see the different models from different manufacturers, and then go to a specific dealer to get that boat that you want. You just want to be as knowledgeable as possible about the boat that you're going to buy. Boat rentals, they're popping up all over the nation, right? I think it's a great thing, especially if you're a first timer and you want to actually get into a boat and see and feel how it's going to be. Boat rentals is great. You can go take your boat out, you know that it's well maintained, go out, have a good time, bring it on back, and then just go out again whenever you like. When people are talking about how they want to look when they're out here on the boat, for myself, I try to keep it as laid back as possible. Polo, t-shirt, pair of shorts, I'm good to go. You know, when people get on boats, everything sort of changes. It just kind of depends on how nautical you want to be, right? So some of the basics. It's not left and right. It's port and starboard, bow and stern, not front and back. No forward, no aft. Know that you're down in the galley. Know that you're sitting here at the helm. Little things like that. Some people have a bit of anxiety about coming out on a boat for the first time, and that's perfectly understandable. What a good captain will do for his guest is, point out certain safety things. Where are the Coast Guard certified life jackets? Where is a safe place to be seated? And also, some people worry about the motion of the boat. Some people have what's called motion sickness, right? And a good captain is going to make sure that he or she is not going to take their boat out when you're in rough seas. Like right now, we're not tied up to a dock or anything. We're just sitting here, and it's relatively calm. You can sit out here, enjoy the breeze, and just have a good time. One thing if you're getting into boating is figuring out whether or not you want a captain's license. There's something that's called a six-pack, and then you get your master's after that. But if you want to get into just having your basic captain's license, you can go online. It's certified by the United States Coast Guard. It's well worth your time. When it comes to storing your boat in the winter, if you can find an indoor storage facility, that's top-notch. Listen, not everybody is going to have that access. So some people keep their boat in the water. You can shrink wrap a boat in the water, or if you put it on land, you can shrink wrap it on land. You've got several options. So here are my top 3 boat maintenance tips. Whenever you get on your boat, always open up your engine compartment and check to make sure that your bilge is dry. What does that mean? You don't want any water on your boat. Number 2, just make sure your oil pressure is good. A lot of things can happen when you're away from your boat. You might have an oil leak somewhere. Just make sure before you crank up those engines that your oil pressure is good. Lastly, your fuel and your water. You want to make sure that your water tank is full. Make sure that your fuel levels are good. The last thing you want to do is be out on the water and run out of fuel, because then you're calling sea tow. My final tip would be to visit discoverboating.com, a one-stop shop for you to learn about the boating lifestyle. I'm going to leave you with a parting phrase, and this one comes from my father, George Mann. If the boat's floating, let's go boating.